had a long-time collaboration with colleagues at MIT, particularly Michael Zhorov and Dennis Frenchman, around various areas of city development. We're particularly thinking about how the development of cities now matters greatly on how you develop the people within them. We've been working in a number of cities worldwide where these sorts of challenges, i.e. challenges of developing, if you like, the innovation ecosystem around the people present, largely in the context of knowledge-intensive industries. We've been working on that problem for some time, and at an early stage, long before the BBC came to Salford, we were discussing with Felicity Goody, head of the Salford Urban Regeneration Corporation, the prospects of what might happen in Salford, and in particular what the prospects might be if the BBC came to Salford. So we were the early partners. And those conversations developed over the year. Subsequently, the BBC came to Salford, and then we started working with Salford University to help them develop a research proposal that might, in some respects, seed a model for how the whole site could develop in the interests of the university, but also the universities they were partnering with, particularly Goldsmiths and Lancaster, though they are building wider connections subsequently. What is distinctive about them is they are cities which have a focus. Media industries is a very strong one, but cities which have a focus on developing a knowledge-intensive activity where the interaction between universities, local governments, industries matters greatly. And sometimes this might be in media industries, sometimes it might be areas of biotechnology, for example. But there's a focus in that sense. In some respects, it's defined by the policy actions we see going on in various countries. Everybody's looking to provide themselves with an edge in the global competition. People are doing this in a whole variety of ways, but the cities we've worked with, and these have been self-identifying places, have taken the view that to develop a place so that it creates value for the local society, local economy, the local government, to develop such places now requires something different to what was required, say, in the 1960s, 70s and 80s, when we saw all sorts of science parks of one sort or another develop. Now there's a much stronger view on the close integration, the close connection between the industrial partners, the universities, the people who live there, and the ways in which people who live there have effectively these multiplex lives where within one place they're doing many of the things they do. So it's a very different kind of city development as compared to, say, for example, like I say, science parks, the 1970s. These things, they always take a long time to develop. Trouble with many of our political or research agendas is that we often look for short-term returns. But if you're going to develop what goes on in a place, you've got to play a long game. But if one looks at what's been happening now within the firm project and what's been happening with Salford University, one can see in various ways, looking at both the research activities and looking at some of the educational activities, how these are changing in ways which could be very beneficial for the university. But none of these things are ever a simply finished game. You can't stop and rest on your laurels. If you've got something good beginning, you need to foster it and nurture it and learn from it.